Hey, it's Millie, and welcome to the Generalist World podcast. This is a show where I interview people from the Generalist World community, and we talk things like the future of work, careers, predictions, their hot takes, and really understand what their squealy careers have looked like. So if you're a generalist who feels like they're living in a specialized world, this is the podcast for you. Chavi, welcome to the Generalist World podcast. I'm so happy to have you with us.
I am so happy to be here. Was unexpected. You asked me like 2 days ago, and I said yes because that's what I'm doing now. I'm just saying yes to things if I'm asked.
Which is the perfect segue into what I want to ask you about first. Can you tell us about your philosophy, about how you think about emergent design?
So, this is a very new philosophy. I know there are websites, blogs, essays that would describe it, but I heard the word emergence. I was someone who read the dictionary as a kid for fun. So I was like, okay, what does emergence mean? And how do I use it with design? So the way I approach pretty much everything is as a design problem, figuring out what are the constraints of anything and finding a process that's fun and then letting the results emerge, whatever they might be. There is a plan, but if things don't go according to plan, I see it as an opportunity.
Emergence is also one of my favorite words, emergence. Have you ever read Emergent Strategy?
I have not.
Oh, there you go. Welcome to the rabbit hole. And that's a recommendation for everyone by Adrienne Marie Brown. It is a chef's kiss book. It is a masterpiece of a book. And if you're, I think you'd like it. I'm wondering, how does it actually show up for you? What does that look like in your life? If someone's like, yeah, emergent design, okay, I'm bought into that. What does it look like?
So, one of the things I try to do is not define it too much or define anything recently. So, I've discovered that if I don't define things, it opens up a lot of possibilities. So, it could be anything. Do you want emergent design in the way you design processes? You think it's happening? It's a little boring, whatever you're doing, it's the same thing. You're stuck in a rut, change a thing, see what emerges. In your work process, productivity, I don't track things. I used to do that a lot. I used all the productivity apps there were. I used to measure everything. And then I just stopped doing that because it was a lot of work. And I didn't want to work on tracking the work. I just wanted to do the work. So I was like, okay, how can I just get rid of that? And then I did. And now I just plan for the moment. I look at what can I do in a single day, a week, what is exciting for me to do. And all the projects that I do, the clients that I work with, I don't even call them clients anymore. I call them collaborators because I want to see what they have in mind and what I have in mind. We can just mesh things together. And then again, it's just emergence. You can fit this into anything because it's such a flexible word. Like, it's a very generalist word, I'd say.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to just like rewind a little bit because you said something that I wonder if it will resonate with a lot of people listening. And that is that for a long time you were tracking everything and like very tracking motivated, I guess. And then you said, and then I just stopped. And I'm wondering if you could take us back to that moment because I think a lot of people would like to be like, sweet, now I'm emergent. Like, but is there anything that you remember from that time that gave you the confidence or the motivation to be able to change your way of working?
It would be quite the opposite. I got tired of trying habit tracking apps. So it wasn't like, okay, now I'm going to try something new. I was like, let me remove something that I don't like doing. So that's actually how it worked because I wasn't motivated. I was less motivated to track things. So it's just going with, okay, I don't like doing it anymore. There were days I would do a thing, but I wouldn't track a thing. There were apps that I loved. I have tried bullet journaling. And some days I just wouldn't. But then I'd still do the thing. So then I started realizing that what I like doing, that's what I've been tracking. So I can just focus on enjoying the process itself instead of having a streak, having a set of goals. I'm like, okay, I'm just enjoying the moment, the process, and whatever I'm enjoying, I want to do more of that.
Mm.
And that just happens. So if I don't like something, I just change it.
Yeah, that is so simple and in the best way. And I think often that's what it comes down to, right? You can track and optimize and follow the data all you like, but often it's the thing that matters is the thing that's obvious. Like, am I enjoying this? Is this giving me energy? Is this draining me? Like, you don't really need to track it day to day to know the answers to that.
Yeah.
I also wonder, you were saying that you don't call them clients, you call them collaborators. I think that's very, very cool. Can you tell us more about the work that you do and what is exciting you at work at the moment?
So currently, because I don't have clients, so whenever I've been in marketing, I've worked across all industries. I worked in big companies, I worked at a startup, I worked at agencies. And what I always thought was, okay, I like this company or I don't like this company because that's the way you approach work generally. But then I realized it was never about the companies, it was about the teams that I was a part of, which
Mm.
made me enjoy work. So when I started doing freelance, that's what I called at the time before I came across the word portfolio career through Generalist World. I was looking at people, the kind of work I would want to do instead of going for companies specifically, looking at job descriptions. What I have done a lot in the past is email marketing. So I
Mhm.
was looking at email marketing jobs because I love that it's permission based marketing as opposed to other channels because you opt in to subscribe, you can unsubscribe
Mm.
anytime. It's
Mm.
not always wherever you are. You open your
Mm.
inbox and there it is. So that's what I was looking at doing. And then I started realizing okay, if I am in an email, I am writing, I am designing, I am doing the strategy, I can apply this to pretty much anything else.
Mm.
And then I came across the Generalist World blog, workshops, all of that. I was like, okay, I can do a lot more than just one thing. So then I started exploring design around that time. And I realized, okay, even design is so generous because there's product design, process design, organizational design. You just put it next to another noun and you have a job title. So I was like, okay, I can just do that. So that I was like pitching projects. Currently, my client to collaborator shift has been talking to more people, seeing what they are doing, and then figuring out how can I help them. Like I was walking on the street, I saw a local bookseller who sells books on the road. I was like, okay, how can I help this person grow their business? Or
Ooh.
I go to a restaurant that I love. I'm like, okay, I love their menu, but I hate their menu design. What can
Mm.
I change and help them make it better? So now I'm all about making things better and doing it for the people I like working with. And I like working with interesting people, doing interesting things. And there's so much of it out in the world that opens up once you forget you're like looking for clients and marketing
Mm.
yourself.
Yeah, work and making things better is literally everywhere you look. I'm curious if like, okay, so you're in the restaurant, you're like the great menu, hate the design. Do you tell them or do you just note?
So it depends on the place. So again, like if I see, okay, there are friendly servers around, there's someone just sitting, I can go up and talk to them. They're receptive and not like entirely too busy. I don't go force my opinions on anyone. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I love, like it's a compliment sandwich. Like, I love what you do. Your menu design sucks. If you make it better, more people will order from you. So I try to do that.
I wonder, Chavi, as like a tiny experiment, if the next time that you do notice this, let's use the menu as an example. Maybe you don't do it in the moment because maybe the waiter's like, I don't care about how the design works. But maybe you find the owner or the email and you actually let them know and you're like, I'm doing this I love the compliment sandwich because I'm a regular, I care, I want to make this better, and you might get, I don't know, a free dinner or maybe a
Yeah.
collaborator.
I am actually in the process of doing that, so I can't say a lot more about that, but that has
Ooh.
happened. So, yeah, I mean, things just happen if you just offer help. I'm someone who's never really, I write, I'm a marketer, but I don't have a newsletter of my own or any paid content services because then I think, okay, am I offering enough value for what I'm charging someone? And that's
Mm.
very hard to figure out. So again, I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. So I just tell people what I think can be better. And if they're receptive to it, great. If they're not, I shared my opinion. And that's
Yeah.
all there is to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. And keep us posted. And if anyone's listening, maybe this could be your challenge for the day or the week to see a problem, see something out in the real world, and go and talk to the people and offer them an idea of how you might help.
Yeah, and I also think this is a great positive reframe because something that I hated was being annoyed all the time. Because again, if you come across something that's frustrating, that's usually for a reason. And if you
Mm.
can identify the reason and then know how it can be fixed, it kind of resolves the frustration itself. So I am not looking at it hating. I'm someone who has not gone to places because I didn't like the font of their logos. Because, like if there are two restaurants and one of them has a good sign, one of them I don't like as much, I'm like, okay, let me go to the one with the good sign.
Yeah, it
So
matters, right?
yeah, so I've done that in the past. So, and if someone forced me to go there, I would be like, why does it suck so much?
Mm.
So, I used to be that. So, after I picked up design and then figured out how things are made actually, and then how I could do the same. Now I just see frustration as an opportunity to improve something.
Oof, love it. And can you speak to me about being deliberately joyful?
Yeah, like I said, one day I was just annoyed at being annoyed. It was just one of those news days. Now, every day is a day like that. You see something in the news, it's like, okay, the worst thing ever. And wherever you are coming across it, it's sadness, grief, outrage, so much to be negative about in the world. And I had read this book called 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman, which was about a person has like an average of 4,000 weeks to live. And what are you doing in your week? And I realized in a day, what I was doing was I was upset a lot of the time, which I didn't enjoy. So I
Mm.
was like, okay, I want to actually be happy. And I have to figure out what makes me happy, even if it's the small moments. And it's in finding those small moments, small actions. I was like, okay, I can just do this more. So it was a long process. I read this book, I believe in 2021 when it came out. I heard a lot of buzz about it. I was like, okay, I'm intrigued by, and that was the time I was measuring things. So it was like, okay, 4,000 weeks, that's a number. And then I read it, and then I was like, okay, I actually don't want to measure my time in the future or think about the past because I don't know how much time anyone has left. That's something none of us know. So, how do I make my just existence better? And then I saw Arrival, which is a great movie, and
So
also
good.
the story is great. So if anyone wants to read it, watch it, do that. I won't talk about that as much, but even in that, there's a story of your life. What's the meaning of your life? And meaning can be a big word. So I was like, okay, I don't need to go look at the big meaning, but in the small moments, am I just happy? And if I'm
Mm.
not, can I change it? So that was my whole thing. And then I was like, okay, now I'll just be deliberately joyful. If I am not, there's something wrong. And if I can fix it, I will. This doesn't
Mm.
mean ignoring what's happening out in the world. I have my time blocks where I read the news, be like, okay, this is enough for the day. And then I'll go talk to a friend and make jokes about it because
Mm,
that's a fun way to process. And if I can have fun, why not?
yeah. And like the the small moments are the big moments. Like a big moment is just many, many small moments, right? So I think it can be kind of overwhelming when you look at life as like one big moment or one big like one big chunk. But when you look at it at lots of little ones, it kind of shows you this opportunity that in each moment you can change, or in each moment, yeah, things can be different.
Or if things aren't different, you can think about it differently.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to change because nobody has to know. You can just think about it differently, and that's what I started practicing doing more. I love stand up comedy, so I used to watch a lot of that. So internally, I'm thinking, okay, is there material here? I don't want to do stand up comedy yet. I don't know, I'm not ruling it out.
Yet.
But I'm like, okay, how can this be a bit? And that really helps finding the joy, finding the humor in what you can.
This is it, because you can't necessarily change the world. You cannot change what's happening in the world. You cannot change what you're reading in the news, but you can change your relationship to how you feel and basically how you relate to it. I wonder how did you land on the word joyful? What was it about joyful that seemed like the word that you wanted to manifest, pursue?
Well, happiness seemed too broad because you can be happy and you can also be sad. There's bittersweet.
Mm,
Joy just seemed so simple to do because curiosity brings me joy, finding art brings me joy, seeing at something that's beautiful brings me joy, finding art, the flowers behind you, those are so pretty. It's easy to find something in your environment that's, if you look at it for a little longer, you can be happy about it. And another thing that I started doing a while ago was just realizing even if I am in an empty room, there are objects around me that people have made. And
mm,
someone's made it with love. Or even if it's not, it's really well made.
yeah.
So there's like so many people who have contributed their life, their time into building the things around us. We might not know them. It's like an invisible web of labor, I like to call it, or
Mm,
constellation since I love
mm,
space. Everything that has been made, it's been made by people. Even we are on the internet, that came about in the 90s by researchers. Computers were made by people. The technology
mm,
that it's built on, like our entire civilization, is just people doing the things that they loved or believed in
mhm.
or saw something they could make better. So again, it just all ties together.
It's so true. I had this moment not long ago, a few weeks ago. I was in a bookshop, which is a surprise to no one who knows me, my favorite place to be. And I just had this moment where I looked around and I was like, we are surrounded by people's thoughts in that everything we see and touch and feel and experience, it started as a thought. Like this pen, someone was like, I'm going to create a pen with a little squiggle on it. And it's like, that was someone's thought.
Yeah, and then you take in the labor of finding the materials for the pen, the place that it's made, the
Yeah.
company who made it, whoever runs the company, all their family and support network that helps them so they can go do the work that they do. And the people who are involved in getting the things to you, supply chains are a huge thing. Wherever you bought it from, there was someone who stocked it. Like, people have just touch the things around us, even if we don't see them. And
Yeah.
I think that is something we lose when we are on the internet a lot, we read a lot, we are in our bubbles, in our routines, limited to the limited number of people that we are in the immediate environment with or come across. But there are so many more, and all of them contribute in creating whatever's around us.
And it's all connected. It's all connected. And when you
Yeah.
go too deep into it, you start to see that everything really is connected. And I think it's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by I love finding new ways to do old things. I loved that line in our prep doc. Tell me more about that.
So I love making things interesting. So it could be anything at all. Like I am staying at a friend's place and they get newspapers, which are so old school now. I mean, they're still out there, but I've never subscribed to one as an adult. I should. They're great. They have a little puzzle section. They had a word search. So I opened it up one day. I was like, okay, I can do the word search. And then the next day I was like, okay, I can make this timed and see if I can beat my previous time. I don't need an app to do it. I can just be like, okay, that was my previous time. Now I can do this again. And again, it's the same word search that comes, same newspaper, same physical medium. I was just like, okay, how can I do this differently in a way that's more fun?
Oh, and then like that's endless, right?
Yeah.
Like that could be endless. You're only constrained by your imagination or creativity. Oh, and I think that might be the secret to being joyful. I live on this island and we have quite an elderly population. And last year, she was a good friend and she was in her 80s and she passed away. And she had lived on the island her entire life. She was born in the house that she still lived in. She literally was birthed upstairs. And in her like what is it called when like is eulogy like the piece of paper
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
has her picture on it, there was a picture and she was just holding a glass of water and she was beaming. She might as well have been holding a, a nugget of gold or something, and I was like, that gives me
Yeah.
so much inspiration to be like, wow, a glass of water can bring so much joy if you can see it from that perspective.
And that's an obituary, by the way. It came to me. Eulogy is something that we speak during funerals.
Yeah.
This comes from the dictionary reading kit, so I can't help it.
This is another amazing book which you might like, and it's called, my mother-in-law got it for me. It's called The Dictionary of Obscure Words. Have you ever come across
I have
that?
I have heard it.
You
Yeah.
must. You must
Yeah.
have heard it. It's so good. There's so many words that I'm like, wow.
Again, someone came up with those words. Someone put it in the
Yeah.
dictionary. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, language is a whole nother for like when you start to think about it, like, wow. I love
Yeah.
like words that only exist in certain languages and they don't cross over, and it just says so much about like the culture and the way of being, the way of living.
And again, like what you mentioned about the smile, it's like Mona Lisa. You could be Mona Lisa if you just smiled about it in a way
Yeah.
and never told anyone. You don't have to share if you don't want to. I like sharing what I love, and that's how I meet the people who have the same interests. But again, it's completely up to you. It's free in this economy that matters. You can just think about things and just and the more you practice it, like any other skill, I don't believe that imagination or creativity is something that you're born with or it goes away. I think you can just practice it like any other skill and you'll get better at it.
Tell me about your predictions. What do you see the world changing? What do you see coming in the future?
In the future, well, I wish it was like Back to the Future and we had time travel machines and flying
Yeah.
cars, but that was in 2015 and that's past, so we can't have that. But I would love to see a future where there are more collaborators. There's this movement called Bauhaus that, again, I came across very recently after I started doing more design. And that was all about people connecting over disciplines, exchanging knowledge, collaborating. And I would love to see a place where we are just bartering skills. We don't have to think about money first. Money, of course, matters. But if we can't exchange currency, we can exchange the social currency of help. Just being like, okay, this is a specific skill that I have developed. and this is how I can help you, and this is how you could help me back. And the Bauhaus people, they treated all skills equally, which is what I loved about them. Carpentry is different from architecture, is different from designing a lamp. Everyone who comes with the skills, specializes, wants to work together, everyone
Yeah.
is equal. And I love that.
Oh, that's so cool. I'll have to look that up.
You will see a lot of things there, and you'll be like, okay, I didn't know that was Bauhaus. Because a
Yeah.
lot of modern designs come from that.
Amazing. So cool. Bauhaus.
That's Bauhaus for the listeners and
BAUH.
for the people watching.
Yeah.
Since we don't have subtitles, I don't know how YouTube does it. It
Yeah.
messes up sometimes.
And we can add the link as well in the show notes for folks if you'd like to follow up and explore that. Chavi, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what your generalist world experience has been like, particularly because you are an incredible member in that I would see you as one of our helpful contributors, and you're not just someone that's like watching, you're very much active. And yeah, what's GW like for you?
Well, first of all, thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, I joined GW. It's been a little over a year now. And again, I came across it through the essays. I'm someone who just loves surfing the internet, very old school, finding new websites, new places. So when I found essays on the Generalist World website, I was like, okay, this seems interesting. And then I saw there were workshops. I just clicked links, and then I signed up for a whole bunch of them. And I attended the few free ones over a couple of months, and all of them were wonderful. And again, some were by members or some were by guest speakers, I believe. And they were amazing. I was like, those are the people I want to hang around. And that's the internet for you. You just discover something, and I'm like, okay, I can just sign up. And then I joined, and there were so many fascinating people, and they were all had so many interests. It was very intimidating because at that point, I had only ever called myself a marketer or a writer or a strategist, like all these very boring roles. Which is, there are millions of us, but I was like, okay, but I am interested in all these other things, and if I actually dig into all the things that I've done, which again was through the GW resources, there's the great unboxed course, I was doing that. Okay, I have actually done a lot more beyond the roles that I had, and I have been a generalist, and now that I'm a part of a community that has a lot of people like this, I can now give back now, because at workplaces there are teams. If you share knowledge, it has to be in a very specific domain, otherwise it's not very helpful. I have tried sharing other interesting things I come across, but again, it's work, everyone's busy. And one of the things I love about Generalist World is whenever I share something, there'll be someone who's interested. So even if it's a weird personality quiz that's about characters from TV instead of a regular personality test, there'll be someone. If I share music, there'll be someone. I come across events that I can't attend, but I'm like, okay, if someone's in this city and they see this, they can go. And because it's such a diverse group of people, there are so many, and everyone's lovely. You have a great filter. Like, whoever you are picking, you are amazing at it. And of course, anyone who sees it, the people that are drawn to something like being a generalist, there are people who have said yes to doing things at work, said yes to doing other things outside of work. They are helpers. That's how they become generalists. So it's just a lovely community. And this is the place where I've like practiced doing things. I have done one-on-one calls with so many members, which is why when I was supposed to be on this, I was like, okay, it's just a one-on-one chat. And then I practiced hosting workshops, and then I hosted workshops for others outside of this. So this has just been my testing ground, and having a supportive community is so helpful. where it's just a safe space. You can come experiment. Sometimes experiments don't work out. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I started the Career Portfolio Lab. That was a spin-off of again something someone else was doing. And again, Nicola and Natalie, you were so great at running that. That inspired me. And again, it's a community of people doing things and being
Mm.
inspiring. So I was like, okay, now that I do things, I could also share. Maybe it inspires someone. And I'd love to see more people doing more things that are
Mm.
just different because there is so much to do.
I love that, Chavi. That's so amazing. And there is something about, I noticed it in our summer school this year, where this year we had members coming and teaching sessions. And it was really cool to see the members who were teaching this year, who last year were in the audience. And they were like, oh, it feels like a full circle moment. So it's a real privilege to get to facilitate these spaces.
Yeah. And it's, again, such a joy to be around and share with people, collaborate with the members, and even outside. I'm like telling people I'm a part of Generalist World. I was like, okay, even if they don't join, they'll know about it because I love it so much.
Oh, well, we're so grateful to have you, and I love it so much as well. It's the best. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish you had a chance to speak about?
So many things because I can speak about anything. I love reading so much. I love watching things. There are so many things, but I love to plug two books. Okay, I have them here. I carry books with me everywhere. This is okay, this
Love.
is flipped, but it's The Design of Everyday Things by Dan Norman. And even if you're not a designer, that's supposed to be the foundational user experience one. But it talks about how the things around us are made. There are some
Ooh.
technical aspects, but it's very accessible.
Uh-huh.
So if you've ever wondered why are some doors so hard to open? Because you think it's a door, it'll work a single way, but it doesn't. There are doors you
Mm.
come across, there are automatic doors, there are doors that pull instead of push, there are no signs. Someone has made those decisions, and Dan Norman is famous for talking about it, and though that's just called the Norman doors. So you can look that up. And flipped Carl Sagan. I love Carl Sagan's books. I have not watched Cosmos, all of it. I plan to. Again, I come across people through their writing mostly. And I've been reading Roga's Brain a lot, and I have read it before. It's a reread, but something about how the brain works, how technology works, how innovation works. This was written way back before I was even born.
Mm.
But you can see those thoughts that are still relevant, and that's what I love
Mm.
about books. And I'd also like to plug the Internet Archive where you can find a lot of books
Okay.
because not all places have accessible libraries, but I love the Internet Archive for having a huge collection of books that are available to you where you don't have to pay to access them. So I love that. And if you reach out to me and you're like, okay, how do I find something? I can just find you an interesting thing. So,
Yeah. I think you may have just started a new tradition. I think at the end of every podcast, I'm going to ask for book recommendations. That's such a great idea.
and it doesn't have to be a favorite book. I don't really have favorite authors.
Mm.
I
Hmm.
only have favorites where it comes to preferences that make my decision making easy. But when
Mm.
it comes to media, music, shows, I don't really have preferences as much because, again, I want to experience everything.
She's a
So,
generalist, people.
yeah, that's how generalists are. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. There are people who struggle to answer favorites. This might be why, because you just love everything and you don't have to, again, measure what's on your top 10 list. That's for the people who sell books. You can just love all the books you read.
Oh, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I feel more energized than when I began. So thank you so much for coming on and thank you for being a part of GW.
And thank you for having me. This has been lovely.